Good morning. Your favorite brunch time, Hired and Wired. Sorry guys, I just need to make sure this is playing on LinkedIn. Let me know who's here. Say good morning in the comments. Excited to go over some things today. It says we're live. Okay, view as member. Hold on. Okay, beautiful. We are rocking and rolling. Beautiful. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hired and Wired, where we have great coffee, good news, some bad news, and just general information about the job market. So the market isn't broken. It's creating the best talent window in years. So the headlines say mass layoffs, and what they're not saying is who's actually hiring. And right now, the companies that are hiring are the ones most people really want to look for. So for job seekers, and we're going to talk about job seekers and companies that are hiring. So the companies cutting are not the companies hiring. AI native firms, OpenAI, Anthropic, they're growing fast. So your experience is exactly what they want. You don't need to be an engineer. Compliance, sales, operations, and PM roles at AI and fintech companies are all surging. So OpenAI alone is hiring 8,000 people. And XAI has 238 open roles right now. Wild. For hiring companies, those of you that are hiring today, let me pull up comments really quickly. Good morning. Hello. The best talent in years just opened up, right? We have seen some layoffs. So experience in SaaS, fintechs, and it's going to be one of those days. Ops professionals, they're actively looking right now. There have been some layoffs, so now is an optimal time to start pulling talent. Benjamin, good morning. So companies are moving fast and they get the first pick. The window won't stay open long, and AI native firms, like we talked about earlier, are already moving. So 178,000 net new jobs were added in March 2026, and mid-career professionals, they're the most in demand. I am reading off a document, I'll be honest. I wanted to put a lot of effort into this, so bear with me. AI is screening everybody now. Everybody's running into AI screening, whether it's the avatars, whether it's answering all the questions, it's AI. 93% of companies are adding more AI to their hiring process, but only 26% of candidates trust it. I'm one of those. That's who I am. Future, where is live from? LinkedIn. So they're adding it to their hiring process, but only 26% of candidates trust it. So that gap is where great talent stands out, and where great recruiters win. Sorry, guys, I barely slept last night. I'm a little jittery, but I'm always excited to be here. So feel free to ask any questions as we go along. So if you're not hearing back, it's really not you. It's an AI filter. So 40% of qualified mid-level candidates get screened out by keywords and tools. And this is what I'm always talking about when it comes to your resume and your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn and your resume go by keywords. So if you're missing one keyword, I hate to say it, but your resume gets thrown out. Now, do you need to edit your resume for every single job? No. Does it help? A little bit. But you do want to make sure your core responsibilities and select achievements highlight different technology you're working with, metrics, numbers. And again, don't forget about the core responsibilities. So 36% of job seekers say clear communication matters more than speed. So ask for a human. Follow up. The black hole is a systematic problem, not a reflection on your work. So 70% of job seekers are actually using their resume to edit it with AI. So you do want to use keywords in the job description, but just don't lose your voice. I think that's one thing, you can really tell when a resume was edited by AI, and it kind of comes off as, I don't want to say the word is cheating, but it comes off as non-human. So you still want to have a personal flair in your resume. You're welcome to write an about section about yourself. Give a little more detail there. So for hiring companies, You guys should know your process is being judged. When you use AI, candidates are going to avoid applying to your company because you're missing that human aspect. So recently, I had a client that posted a job, and they said to me, Emily, we don't know why candidates aren't moving forward in the process. And I said, well, tell me your process. And what they did is they accepted applications. They would then email the candidates from their email and say, hey, great resume. Thank you for applying. We would love to have you complete this assessment before even meeting the candidate. And I had to have a very honest conversation with them. And I'm like, guys, you are looking to hire someone. You've got to put a little bit of love into the process, right? Moses, hello, welcome in. So you've got to give and get. So before sending over an assessment, take 15 minutes to meet them, right? You don't want to, just as a hiring manager, you shouldn't have to put time in reading that assessment, and the candidates shouldn't have to put time filling out an assessment if they're not the right fit. And culture is the biggest reason for turnover. So you want to make sure, and we don't have to be a family, right? But we do have to fit in with our team members, with your employees, so it's a happy working environment. So can AI speed up your pipeline? Absolutely. But 34% of candidates are saying that it loses the personal connection, and that's what matters most in a fast hiring process. So use both. But in my opinion, lean more on the human side. And that's a great opportunity to work with recruiters. We take all that legwork off your plate. We talk to all the people. We give them good news and bad news. We don't ghost them, which I think is something that a lot of people don't value. But think about it. These people that you're interviewing, they could be future users. They could be future clients. So if you ghost someone like that, they're less likely to use or recommend your product or service. So, companies using AI assisted messaging, are only at 9% likelihood of making a hire. So there's got to be some personality behind it. Okay. That's kind of what I got for you guys today. It's been a very long week. Good week. It's only Wednesday. I thought Tuesday was Thursday. So if anybody has any questions about the hiring market, if anybody has any questions about their resume, feel free to leave me a comment so we can do this together. Future, thank you for the compliment. And I'm happy to help, guys, right? Like, don't forget, after these Hired and Wires, we do the 1 hour I need help with my job search group meeting. So anyone's allowed to join. You sign up on the link to my profile. We'll have a private conversation with a small group about your pain points and what we can do to fix it. Benjamin, I would, sorry. Benjamin, I would love a brutal review of my LinkedIn. I'm a former Volta, used to be EOS Blockchain. I manage the EOS Volta brand with engineering and exchange. I made your recommendation critiques from last month. I thought your name looked familiar. I am targeting a TPM and product manager roles. Also, it was recommended I remove my Web3 crypto buzzwords due to other companies having negative views of Web3. What do you think? Benjamin, first off, welcome back. We just redeveloped our brand. It was like the crypto recruiters growing up a little bit. I do think that the word crypto and Web3 is definitely got a negative connotation when it comes to Web2 SaaS fintech companies. Hi, Paul. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Boris. So I would have two resumes. I would have the crypto Web3 resume, and I would have the more SaaS-focused resume. So you're right. Unfortunately, companies kind of had a bad taste in crypto. So that's a big reason on why we grew up, is because crypto almost became a negative word. So we still service crypto companies, but there's a lot less of them. So we're gearing more towards blockchain and AI, fintech, and SaaS. So I think those are the keywords that are most popular right now. Okay, so Benjamin, let us go to your profile. Hold on one second. All right, Benjamin. I'm gonna close all these messages. Can you leave me a comment that says I have your permission to share your screen, to share my screen with the people in the room? Because we definitely want to, you know, your resume will be on, your LinkedIn profile will be on screen, and anybody can watch this. So I want to make sure that's something you're comfortable with. Royal, looks like I'm late here. Not too late. We're only 10 minutes in. My resume is here and I keep getting rejections being country. Sorry, guys. My eyesight is like, I need to go get new glasses. I just got new glasses, but I think they do not want to give me the right feedback. So I can't open that link, Moses. If you would like to send it to me, you are welcome to send it to my Telegram. Hold on 1 second. At the Crypto Recruiter. I think I spelled that correctly. Enter. Nope. Perfect. Yeah, send that to my Telegram. Benjamin, just need your permission, my friend. Sorry. There's some really funny comments on, I mean, not funny, just, yeah, funny comments on YouTube. Okay, while we're waiting for Benjamin, I'm just going to start with some of the things that I think we need to go over. Okay. Job market is odd, Deborah. I agree with you. How big of an issue is a gap that's of set? What? Oh, how big is an issue of a gap 18 months in a candidate's profile? The job market in Web3 has been really strange and tough over the past 1 year. I totally agree with you. Let's jump into that in a second. We're going to share Benjamin's profile. I just got to make sure nothing here is visible. You know, one of these days, I'm going to figure out how to share LinkedIn profile. All right, here we go. Adding to stage. Beautiful. Benjamin, welcome back. Love the photo of you. Love the background. Senior Technical Program Manager, AI/ML platforms and high-scale distributed systems, Tier 0 cloud infrastructure. This is some really good words, keywords. Wow, keywords in here. So I like this. Now on your resume, you never want to use the word I in a resume. On your LinkedIn profile, throw all the I's in there. You want to make it as personable as possible. I thrive in an uncomfortable excitement of 0 to 1. Problem spaces as a technical program manager, specializing in fleet-wide infrastructure. My focus always. Okay, so let me just continue to scan. Little M dash here. Let's take that out. Can you see the highlight? Yes, you can see the highlight on the screen. So what I want you to do, I love the emojis here. It's a nice use of them. But this is just a lot of text to read. And I feel like it's very professional. I wish there was a little bit of like Ego Scout, Boys of America. I just wish there was a little bit more flavor or flair to it. I think some of these sentences can actually be broken out. Some of these paragraphs can be broken out, the 2 sentences. It's okay that it's 2 sentences. You're more than welcome to separate it. Awards and certifications, I love it. Email, I love it. And you've got some featured here. That's great. That shows me you've got stuff going on. Let's talk about posting. So, okay, I'm like such a hypocrite right now because I haven't posted in a while. To be fair, I've been out of the office, still unacceptable, but recruiters have 100 connection requests to send out a week. So they're being thoughtful about who they reach out to. They want to reach out to people that are going to get back to them. So if you're more active on LinkedIn, you are more likely to get a reach out from a recruiter because they think, oh, this guy's going to get back to me quickly or just get back to me in general. So I would encourage you to try to post a little bit more. Weekly would be ideal. I should be doing it 3 times a week, but you know, I got a job to do at the same time. What I would also encourage you to do, don't like your own post. The algorithm doesn't like that. All right. Good information here. I think the only thing that's missing, so no, you've got good. Yeah, this is really good. I really do like the use of the box. I would put a space up here though, make it a little easier to read. So this says, oh, interesting. So you were at Volta and then you were an independent contractor for Volta. Can you confirm in the message? Paul, I'm assuming your comment is regarding the recruiter reach outs, and yes, really, really. Customer data platform integration. So something else I would encourage you to do is just a sentence expanding on what the company does. Adds keywords, and that way the reader doesn't have to click on the logo. Because you have to click on the logo to go to the company page. Click on the logo, go to the company page, click about, then they've got to read about it. So I know you've got a data platform, but just dive a little bit deeper into what that is. Beautiful. Love the keywords here and the parentheses. So I'm a big fan of parentheses, right? You are not. So a parentheses next to your title, I think is a good thing, because titles in general, whether it's SaaS, fintech, AI, they can all be a little funky, right? So when you have, like for me, recruiter, parentheses, business development. I actually don't do much business development, but I'm just giving you an example. So it could be recruiter, parentheses, business development. I'm not claiming that title. I'm educating the reader of what I did in my profile. Okay, Benjamin, Volta Foundation ended in November and I stayed to work on the network post-funding ending. Okay. I found that to be a little bit confusing, so I would just wrap it all into one. Yes, posting. Posting at least once a week is really important. And here's the thing, guys, it's not about likes. It's not about popularity. It is about views. You want to use posting as a way to be kept top of mind, right? The more people that see your post, the more people remember you. That's really what you're looking for when it comes to posts. It's not a popularity contest. In fact, some of my posts that have gotten the least interaction have gotten the most views and have also led to clients, right? So it's just staying top of mind. I'm also talking to myself. I got to stay top of mind. Entity data services, read more. Sorry, I know it's kind of awkward when I'm just sitting here reading. Love that you've got the clients listed here. Center of Excellence, COE. So here's why this is important. On LinkedIn Recruiter, which is the back end of LinkedIn, I can search keywords. I think we're all on the same page there. So what's interesting is I could be using Center of Excellence or I could be using COE. So it's important that you have both in your resume. So that way, whichever word I'm looking for, you come up in that list. Career break, perfect. Let me go all of your experience here. Guys, sorry for the low energy. I'm just exhausted today, but I still wanted to be here. Hewlett Packard, beautiful, love it. Yeah, this looks really good. I'm a good reader, by the way. I'm a good scanner. So you were here for 7 months. I would get rid of promoted to permanent employee, and I would go back to put responsibilities, right, and achievements. I wouldn't leave contracted in there. I don't think this is relevant. They just want to know what you did. I love that you've got media attached to your profile. I think that's really important. It makes it look like it's fully built out. Now, here's the sitch. You really don't want to go past 10 years on your resume for a couple reasons. One is what you were doing at Serco relevant to what you're doing now. I see you're a program management specialist, probably working in waterfall. Well, now everything's agile. So you have a choice to make here. You can keep this and show the experience, but then you have to build out Silo Smashers, TerraCore, and Apex Systems. Also, this shouldn't be Apex System. This should be Hewlett Packard. I understand you were working through a recruiting firm, but you need to put Hewlett Packard on there. So you can either keep this experience on to show that you're a tenured professional, or you can take it off. It may be of benefit just to leave the position, the description about the company, and one sentence like you have here. But going back to 2005 can be tricky. I don't want someone to look at your profile and think, Benjamin's too tenured, he's going to be bored in this role. Or, Benjamin's too tenured, he's going to want $1 billion. So you have to make that decision for you. Now, from my understanding, you come from larger companies. I personally think they're going to appreciate that experience. But if you want to get into the startup world, you may want to consider taking it off. So Benjamin, let me just finish scrolling here. Great, you took dates of education off your profile. Perfect. Now, when you put dates of education on your profile, it lets people know, it basically dates you. It tells people how old you are. And then they're going to judge what experience you're qualified for or what salary you're qualified for. Recommendations, beautiful. Remember this from last time. Try to get one from 2026. If you want to stay in crypto blockchain, try to get a couple from Volta. Just double check. So you've got the skills. So are these the 2 skills you want at your top of your profile? You can reorganize these. So for me, it's like recruiting and crypto. I don't have crypto on there anymore, but it's like recruiting and something else, right? Publications, beautiful, very built out. Courses, beautiful, very built out. So overall, I would probably rate this a 9.5 out of 10. It's very educational. It really lets me know what you do. And it also gives me core achievements. So I like that a lot. Justin, you can also minimize the number of bullets, which is what I did. There you go. Let's see here. Let me check my Telegram. Okay, I haven't gotten your Telegram about the resume. Let me scroll up in messages. Royale. I have been in the Web3 space since 2017. I've seen all the ups and downs, but I can see people faking more in Web3 and getting a job, but people like me who are well-versed in the industry and focus on remaining genuine is not getting a good opportunity. My dude, this is the actual biggest problem we have ever seen in recruiting, is companies are hiring people based only off personality and based off, what they think they've accomplished rather than potential. I also think that companies get blindsided when someone just seems so perfect and then 3 months later it doesn't work out. So yes, people are overselling themselves. I think a great way to end your interview is literally last sentence of your interview. Do you have any concerns about my ability to be successful in this role? And how do I stack up to other candidates? It's a great way to get some questions answered, right? So if someone says, we've got a guy with 22 years of experience with AI, you can be like, I thought it came out X, Y, and Z date, right? I don't say you want to, crap on your competition, but if a company is not smart enough to vet a candidate properly, do you really want to work for that company? You know what I mean? If they if they just go off base value, do you really want to work there? This is one reason, I know there's this big conflict regarding assessments, whether it's live coding or a marketing plan. I know there's a lot of issues around that. And I think of it myself. Would I want to do the assessment? Absolutely not. But it is a great way for companies to verify that you know what they're doing, that they know what they're doing, the candidate. So I had someone recently be requested an assessment that was, oh God, what was it? It was a 30, 60, 90-day plan for sales. And could they take the information and run? Absolutely. But you've got to make that decision because you're interviewing the company just as much as they're interviewing you. So maybe you only have one interview going, but if it feels like they're not going to hire you and are just looking for free information, I trust that you're able to pick up those cues. I do think we have to do assessments. It's just the way of the world right now. It really sucks. It really does, but it's just how things are working right now. But if a company is asking for too much information, that's a red flag, and you should be very careful proceeding. Hold on one second. Mike, 99% of companies in Web3 aren't real businesses. It's not an accurate representation of how real businesses operate. Mike, you are not wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. We've been doing crypto for the last 6 years. We've had clients that have completely shut down. We've had clients that have run out of funding. So I do think there's a lot of companies in Web3 that don't know what they're doing, that don't have product market fit, and don't have a strong team. So another reason why we are growing up into different verticals. Marilee, how do you think I can stand out as a communications professional in the tech industry, especially with the teams that have limited understanding of communications and storytelling? Oh, I love this question. LinkedIn content. So another great way, LinkedIn content for sure, but another great way is when you have an interview, following up with that interview and saying, hey, I put together a little something, something about X, Y, and Z. Would you like to see it? Now, you don't want to just send a message. You don't just want to send the information with the thank you note at the interview. You want to ask. This will get them to engage. And if they don't want it, that's fine. If they never get back to you, it just is what it is. It's a no. And unfortunately, we can't get back to, the tech recruiters, see me there. The tech recruiters do our best to get back to everybody. I think we send out really thoughtful rejection letters, but we're a small team with hundreds of thousands of applicants. So I will tell you, think about it like this. When you go to a networking event and you meet 20 people, do you remember all their names? I highly doubt you do. It's the same thought when it comes to interviewing. They've got their job. They've got the job of the open spot on their team. They've got recruiting, and they also have a personal life. Things fall through the cracks. So you don't want to take it personally, and you want to set them up for success. How do we do this? We follow up with them on LinkedIn after the interview. Maybe a day later, we send a LinkedIn connection request. Maybe 2 days later, we send another thank you note, checking in. Hey, if they ask for your piece, follow up. What did you think about my piece? I would also focus in your interviews about, or even your LinkedIn content about how important comms and storytelling is. I would also pick your niche. So there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, a lot of topics. You need to find where you shine the most. Okay. We're slightly running out of time, but I'm here for it. So Marilee, I hope that helps. Royal, yes, I would love to review your profile. If you wouldn't mind coming next week, actually, hold on. I might be out of office next week. Hold on 1 second. I just want to give you a good review. Am I here next week? Next week's the 25th. No, I am not here next week. Hey, Danielle, if you're listening, weird, hold on. Oh, interesting. Sorry. Save and close. I blocked off my calendar for the wrong dates. Winning. So Danielle, let's do another one on Thursday, not this Thursday, but next, so we don't skip too many hired and wires. Let me know. All right, so guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna collect an email of names. How are we gonna do this? You're gonna send your name and your resume to this email. We are going to see you on next Thursday to get this done together. All right, Justin, so send me an email with your information. We will remind you on Thursday. Justin, I reach out and hope to get in touch with them by sending out an initial connection note. Funny you bring this up. I have a 98% connection acceptance rate. I don't send notes. Unless I'm recruiting and I've sent them an email, then I send them a note, but it's different because I'm trying to help them find a job. So I never send notes unless you had an interview, say, hey, thanks so much. It was great to meet you. And that's it. I wouldn't send an initial, hey, I applied to this job, because they're getting 75 of those connection requests. Hey, I applied to this job. So you don't want to add to their stack of work. You want to help them. So by just sending a connection request, it leaves a little mystery, a little spice. Ooh, what does Justin want? He's got a great profile. I'm going to connect with him. Not able to see the email. Yeah, it should be up there, right up top. A lot of founders are just rich people with nothing to do, so they go in a passion and spend a bunch of money, whether they know what they're doing or not. Justin, my friend, we can't say this live. Sorry, I'm reading the comments back. Sorry, I said the quiet part out loud. It's okay. We're here for it. How do you advise a non-traditional founder that has over 4 decades of experience in various industries? Adrian, I'd love more information on like what kind of advice are they going into a specific industry. I just need a little more information on that question. So Royale, we're coming to the next week. Justin, I want to be relevant, not random. That's fair. That's a fair point. All right, my friends, my family. I would love to follow up with you next Thursday. I'm out of the office from Saturday to Wednesday. I have a personal commitment. So we will be back on Thursday. I will be much more energetic. The Emily you know and love will be back. Yeah, sorry, just really long night. Good night, long night. And we got a lot to do today. So for those of you that signed up for the group session in right after this, I will see you then. And I hope this was semi-helpful. I know it wasn't my best, so I appreciate your support. All right. Bye, everybody.